it's just kind of running its own course.
Yeah.
From what I can see, and then, and the truth, I want to call the run on, I almost said Digibyte, the run on XRP.
Right.
The other day, that might have had something to do with the video that came out. Bitcoin Ben, he had, talked to some guy that's supposedly has some inside info on, the market and the different coins that are going to be primarily used in the future and so on and so forth. And yeah, I witnessed that, as he was talking, it was gaining ground. So I really think he had a little bit to do with that. And then as soon as, traders and, these computer algos and stuff saw the volume coming in and the price spike, then all the buy orders, started popping off, and then all the early money was in, I'd say, first couple hours, during and after the video. Then the rest of it was retail investors around the world chasing it.
Yeah.
Just running and gunning, everybody was on board. And then, definitely today, and I can show that chart later as soon as we, get going, but Bitcoin Cash, same thing today. It's like literally like out in the ocean, a few whales floating around, they're going to this feeding ground, and then they get full, and they go to another feeding ground. And,
yeah, that's exactly right, yeah.
They're feeling happy, what I'm saying is they're feeling safe being bullish.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's something with the market that's a positive. These guys are feeling safe to come in and buy up that much that it starts moving the market.
Right. Okay, so real quick, I'm sorry to interrupt, Joe. We got a few people coming in. Let's do a sound check real quick. Can anybody hear us? How's the sound, guys? Sound okay? And gals, if there's any gals out there.
Yeah, sound check over here on this end. So, as soon as y'all can hear.
All right, so we got a person that responded. All good on the sound part. So, okay, we're probably going to get more people hopefully more people that'll chime in. And if not, hey, appreciate you guys coming in. But it's me, CryptoFib, and Joe Marshall at CryptoChartsJoe. What we're going to do, guys, to start out with, we're going to take a look at Bitcoin. I know everybody wants to, see where it's going, how long it's going to take to get there, and are we going to the moon, or are we going to drop like a rock? So let's go ahead and get into Bitcoin real quick. And Joe, I'll just let you got your chart up. I'll let you go ahead and start there, and let's see what we got.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Welcome, everyone. Appreciate you, Joe, dropping in. Okay, right quick, obviously this is the weekly, and for the new people, what that means, each candlestick is a week of price action, a week of trading, and, this was obviously the peak of it, the end of December, 1st of January, 2017, 2018, and then, we kind of downtrended here, and then actually right around June or so, we've kind of plateaued out, so to speak, and we're just real tight consolidation here. Now, true, we are making lower highs. Here's a high, here's a next high, but it's lower. But the lower lows, not so much. Maybe a few pennies off here and there, and then real tight consolidation. So we made a higher high here over this weekly red candle. And then we came back, made a lower low, and then a higher high here. So we're just just beating a dead horse. We're still in a tight consolidation here. And really what we need to do is start getting over a couple of these moving averages. And if we get, a weekly, meaning one of these full candles, a close over this inside bar here, because they're all inside this weekly candle here.
Absolutely.
For the first of September. Yeah. So there's 7,400, and how I know that, I click on here, and then I go over here, and it'll, under H, it'll tell me. So when I click on it, you can look up there and see it's 74.02. So we get a close over 74.02 on the weekly. Feel a lot better. However, JR and I were talking before the live stream and saying there's a lot of consolidation here, especially around this, 6,000, 6,200 range. They haven't let it below that. And, there's people, there's groups collecting coins here. And let me show you why I say that. The last time that we had a close under 6,000 was guess where? On the weekly. Now, of course, it dipped down to the daily. We've had a daily close under 6,000. I think it was the 1st of June. We had a daily close under 6,000, but not since then. But the last weekly close was way over here in November, which I think bodes pretty well. I mean, that kind of blew me away, actually. I don't know, maybe that's a line in the sand as far as low as they'll let this thing go. But, yeah, I guess kind of leave it at that. I mean, that's, if we keep above that in the weekly, feel very confident we're ready to take off here pretty soon. But if we get a weekly close under that 6,000, then all those other thoughts and fears might be coming in at that point.
Well, I think we're on pretty much the same page, Joe. I mean, real quick, I'll move yours out of the way just real quick for a second. Here's my weekly chart, guys. Is that I've talked about Bollinger Bands, and I've brought that into the equation because I didn't want to overload you guys with too much. But you can see, and especially on Joe's chart, when you looked at Joe's chart, you can kind of see where everything kind of starts getting more narrow. It's almost like a rubber band. You're winding up a rubber band, right? And so that's when I see Bollinger Bands, that's what I think of. And especially when you get all the EMAs that are right in here, the Bollinger Bands are getting tight. It's going to go one of two ways, okay? And there's really, and it's just a matter of when. But we're either going to go sideways for a while and then go up, or we're going to go sideways for a while and then we're going down. And so which way is it going to go is the question, right? So when I talked like almost 2 weeks ago, or maybe a week and a half, I said I could see us going sideways for quite a while. And that still may play out. We may not see anything happen until early next year. For all I know, I mean, this thing could get really, really tight, and then at some point it breaks either way. Something has to give. So, I mean, that's kind of my thoughts on it, and I think me and Joe are pretty much on the same page. But, it's just one of those things you have to keep your eye on. It's, so I'm going to get your chart. Let me get your chart, grab your chart, and I'll put it back over there, Joe. If I can, hang on here. Oops, I got to get the whole thing. Oops, there we go.
I think you're on my screen.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right, I got you back up.
Okay, cool. So we're back. Okay.
Whoops, am I messing with it? There you go.
Okay. All right. Well, let me do that. Let me take a look at the daily right quick. Or...
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay. Here's the daily, like the weekly. Of each candle is 24 hours, 1 day of cross action. And, we had a little rally going up here, for 4 days, and then it kind of plateaued, and then, 4 days down, and now we're trying to get above those moving averages again. I don't know really what they're waiting on. Honestly, I'd rather make one move or another pretty quick. But you kind of look at a pseudo, wedge formation. Most people call this a wedge. And as you can see, as we drew it out, here's the 1st of October right here. That ends the first week. So within the next couple of weeks, I'm going to say we're going to know which way we're going. We're going to break out of this thing one way or the other. Within the next couple of weeks, in this month, within the first week of October. And right down here, this line, if you remember, that's from the weekly. That's, it's not perfectly over here. But anyway, that's about your 6,000. So, we're a little bit above that, thank goodness. But, get another rocket down, who knows? You know, I just hate to speculate. I honestly, you know, really don't know for sure what the next move on this is going to be. I think with back the KKT coming in, they people may or may not know this, but they're owned by, the parent company is ICE, Intercontinental Exchange, largest futures, you know, market makers in the world. You know, they do trillions per day, you know, in trade action. And they also own the New York Stock Exchange. You may have heard of that.
Right, yeah, everybody's heard of that one, that's for sure.
Yeah, so a team that big that's already, you know, in the space and everything, and also they became a minority owner of Coinbase back in 2015, and I think it was part of the reasons for them to, you know, collect coins, collect Bitcoin, because they are going to run the business trading and using the coins instead of this hypothecated stuff, you know, trading air, so to speak, like a lot of the other exchanges do. And we kind of cover that on the last, you know, live stream, so I won't really, you know, beat you down with that again. But I think that's really important. That comes out, I want to say November 4th is when they're going to roll that out. And if you check their website and you check their Twitter and everything else, they seem, I mean, the way that, you know, they go on about the market and everything, it's almost like they're already in business, you know, and they're already trading, even though they're not. So that tells me they, you know, they have a pretty good high confidence rate that they're going to, you know, get the blessing by the SEC and whoever else that needs to sign off on it. And and that's something else I want to, you know, really hit on, is that sometimes we forget that there's a finite, limited number of a lot of these currencies and coins, some more so than others. Like Bitcoin, what is it? You know, there's only so many millions out there right now, then it's going to peak out at 21. And then Litecoin, I think it's, you know, 84 million is peak at when they're, you know, they're finally done mining all the coins. And then kind of a comparison, gold, silver, oil and gas. I mean, every time you turn around, somebody's finding a new silver mine, gold mine, or finding more of it, and then, or either that or people are hoarding it, and we don't know really how much is out there, you know. So, because they were, you know, people have said, well, it's been suppressed for a while, but that's, you know, another argument. But, and then also oil and gas, you know, how much oil in different places has our country been kind of hiding, you know, kind of keeping it up our shirt sleeve, not letting anybody know what we have. But anyway, I think that bodes well for, you know, the cryptos as far as,
yeah, it'll get there at some point. You know, let's what people. I'm going to ask real quick. Does anybody have any questions out there right now about Bitcoin? I just want to see if anybody has any questions, or, you know, about the charts, or what you may have seen on the charts, or if there's anything that's confusing you, or, you know, any questions about moving averages, Bollinger Bands, or, you know, or whatnot. Or do y'all want to see you want to see a shorter term chart? You want to see an hourly?
I think that chart, well, a lot of they into Litecoin, like they just trades real smooth. You know, here's a 4-hour chart of it. Each candle is 4 hours price action trading. Doesn't look like much, but when you put the lines up here, you can kind of see, you know, the trend. I have an uptrend here. And then I have this, because you flip over to the hour, and then you can see when we were, you know, trending up on the hourly today, and we kind of ran
Yeah.
And to tell you the truth, Sunday, I thought we were going to have a big sell-off because we were up in, up around up here, and then we came back around 63 or so. Now, yeah, we sold off, but I thought we were going to hit the 50s, low 50, like 50. But we didn't. And even right now, we fell down, and this big hourly candle just hit. That was a 7 to 8 o'clock Central Time candle right here, and it took out 3 hours of trading. Closed above the last 3 hours, which is
that looked like a head fake right there. But we got a question real quick, Joe. We got a question. How do the other coins follow the price action of Bitcoin so quickly? And I will just say, guys, there's some coins that'll follow Bitcoin, but in my experience, it seems like you'll see ones that follow Bitcoin, and then you'll see ones that follow Ethereum. And when you look at some charts and you compare them to Ethereum, like altcoins, you can see the patterns. So there's some of these, and I don't know if it's because of maybe some of these were funded off of Ethereum, and that's why they do it. But you can definitely tell, like, certain altcoins will follow Ethereum, and they'll almost have the almost exact pattern. I mean, to a T. But when you look at Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin, they all have different patterns to them. Even though, they may all go up and down in one day, but they have different kind of patterns to them, So that's where it gets kind of confusing. So just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, and since we did the weekly close of the low on Bitcoin, I think, what was it, November was the last time it closed under 6. Well, with Litecoin, the last time it closed under 50, I wish they would hang one there. But anyway, looks like it was, let's see what the close was, 47.70. Yeah, that was back in September, and which was, over a month, close to 2 months,
right,
before. So, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. So
no, it's not. I mean, it's following like in, it's not. It doesn't have that bottoming pattern that Bitcoin does. Where it was, several weeks or whatever. So we'll see what happens with Litecoin. Here's what I'll do real quick. I'm just gonna borrow my chart here real quick, and I'm gonna drag over. I think it was a 4-hour chart that I was looking at on Litecoin. Okay. The thing about Litecoin on the 4-hour chart, okay, is this. When you see, guys, here's the thing. When you see long wicks coming out the top or the bottom, okay, it doesn't take a rocket science, to figure out that that's your resistance, right? Okay. That's resistance right there. And that's a nasty little reversal. Now, it's trying to reverse it all back. And the good thing about it is that it's holding the 10 EMA. Okay? It's still stuck in between the Bollinger Bands, and it's trying to bounce off this. And that's the other thing I wanted to point it out, is that you hear me talk about price outside of Bollinger Bands, right? So, look at this. Back here, and look what happens. You get outside the Bollinger Bands, and then it wants to revert right back down to the EMA. So if you just throw Bollinger Bands on your charts, guys, I'm telling you, it works. Okay? You start seeing price outside, and that gives you a heads up that you are not taking any longs right in there. Okay? It's a death sentence. I'm just telling you. Now, some people may get risky and try a short back in here when it gets outside, but how much further is it going to go down? Your risk to reward is not that good, okay? You may gain a little bit right here, but then it reverses right back out. So if you're going to do something like that, have tight stops, Okay? And so, anyway, this is actually some positive momentum for Litecoin on the 4-hour chart. I can switch it over to a daily real quick. And just like I talked about with Wix, look how it bounced off the 78.6 retracement perfectly. And so it's trying to come off that. Okay? But it's got to get above this wick right here, and then it's going to run into the 50 EMA, which has been resistance here and here. So just something to keep an eye on. Okay. Sorry, Joe. Let me get you back over there.
Oh, no, you're good. Yeah, I put up that 4-hour too. That's coincidental. This, as you said, if we put this up for us on the weekly, going back to the low weekly, and it came down and tested it right here. That's pretty wild. But anyway, yeah, something I'm looking at this, well, 4-hour on Litecoin, I guess because I watch it so much. But I put up a Twitter post, whatever, the other day with this chart, and I had the red arrows like right here. And the reason being, there's a correlation. Anytime it hits close to, well, when it starts going under 40, I'll start looking for some sort of reversal, oversold reversal, and then just work down to smaller time frames regarding the charts. But long story short, this was, way under 30, actually 24, so it was pretty sure it was going to reverse pretty soon. And then had about equal volume, and then, it barely closed above it. So, that was a good spot. And then another one right here as far as entries. And then as far as the X's, like JR was just talking about, you had those wicks, people taking profit, resistance from somewhere, generally, further in the chart, like right here, see? That one there, wick down, and then it came down.
Well, that was a perfect reversal. That was a perfect reversal pattern right there. Is where you got the green. It's trying to go up, and then you get it's kind of a long wick out the top, and then you get a red candle following. That's a reversal. And then when it can't come up and make a new high, that's even more troublesome. But look where it rejected the EMA. So when you put all this together, guys. That's what I'm talking about. You see this candle right here, and it comes up and it hits that EMA, and then it rejects right off of it. It didn't like it. And then it comes back up and tries to get back above it, but it can't get above the previous high. And so what happens? People give up, they sell off.
See, let me pull up this daily, and that's what JR and I, they've been talking about on Twitter and Discord for a while. This 50 has just been a bear for Litecoin. Matter of fact, we haven't been above it. We were above it 1, 2, 3 days right here in May.
Mm-hmm.
Middle of May is the last time we've been above that 50. And, excuse me, and the reason why I make a big deal out of the 50 is that hedge funds, mutual funds, professional, investment companies, retirement funds, that sort of deal, they don't even look at an asset, stock, whatever, until it's over the 50, over the 20, over the 50, because that journey signals that it's in, an uptrend and in a bull market. So if this was trading, if Litecoin, Bitcoin, any of these, well, most of them, if they were trading on the, let's say, S&P 500 or whatever, the legacy markets, the big guys wouldn't even be in it for the most part because of that. But as you can see, that's what he's talking about. Like if you're just trading this on the daily, as soon as you saw it hit and then pull back, you got out here. Let me see, was that the 90? Yeah, that's the one. Remember, JR, that was the 95 call, like here and here, but look, see where we're at, or right now, we're trading above it. We had that 12 EMA, the black line, reason why I use the 12 EMA, that's what GDAX uses, Coinbase's, what do they call it, Pro, GDAX Pro, they come up with some new fancy term name. And also, speaking of Coinbase, they're supposed to be adding some coins, well, they have applications to do so. And I believe they're going to try to, which is great. I mean, follow the guidelines, restrictions, I guess kind of like a bag, wink, wink. And each different territory, state, country, etc., for each coin token that they add to Coinbase, or really what they're doing, they're adding it to, their GDAX Pro, whatever they're calling it today. And so that's why I use that 12. But I use the normal 20, normal 50, and 200, just like the legacy markets, SP 500. A lot of those guys use that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a positive. We're squeezing it down. I mean, that's just real indecision, real, nobody's really willing to sell off.
Well, that's why I talked about things may go sideways. We're range bound right now, guys. I mean,
yeah.
And really, if you guys are wanting to get in and out of things, it's probably a good time to get in and out of things. If you're wanting to collect $50 here or $100 there, I mean, it's actually a pretty good time. I mean, you still want to have your stop losses, but just be careful. Hey, Joe, real quick, we got some chart requests.
Yeah.
All right, let's pull up Siacoin SC.
Okay, you said it. I didn't hear you. What was it?
SC. Sam Charlie. Siacoin.
Hold on. Sorry.
No, it's just 2. SC. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So,
there you go. There you go.
Let's see. I guess I'll go with Bitrix.
There you go. And let's take a look at it on a daily chart.
Yeah, no, I was going to say this is a weekly. So just like JR was talking about, we're range bound. It's just floating right in here. Let's see. And honestly, the reason why I already had it on the weekly because I was getting ready to go to some of these altcoins, and that's how I get set up. I think the safest way to get set or look for a pattern is on the weekly to really,
That's interesting.
see.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Hang on just a second, real quick. Look at the reversal pattern.
Right. Yeah. Matter of fact,
Higher,
yeah.
low, and a reversal pattern. So if it can get above that, yeah.
Who was that asked for this? Who was that?
This was, let me look back. That was Chris.
Yeah, tell Chris thanks because I want to save this chart. I'm going to be using that as soon as it pops up. This is not financial advice. This is just what I can't even talk. I'm so excited here. So at accumulation, sideways, consolidation. Yeah, somebody doesn't want it basically any lower. At least right now they don't. And as soon as it pops over, we get a little close, maybe a weekly close over this resistance line. Yeah, I'll probably be getting in that area because your first run is going to be up to here at least. Yeah. And then your second target. The reason why I say that because that's see that consolidation there, then it dropped.
Yeah.
So that's going to be resistance fighting through that. So
it will be, but it's got potential. And I'll just say this, guys. I mean, this almost makes me want to make a call on it. I mean, it really does. But you could almost, when I see a reversal pattern like this, and what I typically like to do, is I want to see what the next candle after the green one does, just to make sure it's not a head fake. But if you're willing and you got the risk, and obviously try to keep your risk low, you could actually take a position in here. Where'd that go?
Oh.
Yeah, switch back to the daily. Yeah.
This is a 3-day. Each one of these is 3 days.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, perfect. So you could actually take a position in here where you're at and put your stop loss down possibly below that wick, right?
Yeah.
Because that should be your bottom. So if you've got the risk for it, you could take a position here and risk it breaking this trend line and going up. And then, obviously you gotta have some nuts on you, but and not just want to, try to sell out if it starts dropping just a little bit, because it could come all the way back here. But you could put right in there, you could put your stop loss just below that wick right there.
Yeah, see where that wick came down?
Yeah.
That's what it lined up over here where the breakout. Well, that's where they came in.
Yeah.
Right here. See, that's what Jay will talk about. Here's your green candle. You wait for the next one. Okay, people are in. The trap's set. It's going to run. Because you took out 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks, a whole month.
Yeah.
It closed. Yeah, it basically closed. The price closed higher than the last 1, 2, 3, 4 months. Well, 4 weeks, sorry, for the whole month. So that was right time, right place, and of course that was peak.
Oh yeah. So this is one of those that it's been a runner in the past, and it's just kind of consolidating. And so if it starts to run, it's going to catch a lot of people off guard, and then it'll be a FOMO type of deal, and people want to get in.
Right.
So,
and also this is and nothing against this coin. Pretty good thing. But anyway, I'll just use this for example. As we look at other altcoins, you're going to see the same thing. And this is why I think people have been buying Bitcoin, holding it, whoever it is, in all seriousness, all the way down, because this came down to where it broke out. You know what I'm saying? It's lost more than 30%. It's made a big, made a big reversal. And you don't see Bitcoin back at the January, you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, absolutely I do. Yeah.
Where it first started in 2017.
Yeah.
Is what I'm saying. But
well, good deal. Well, there we go with Scicoin. That's one to watch for sure, guys. So the next one, Joe, let's go, and you know this one very well, so do I, Digibyte.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. All right, let me look at the daily. Not that I've been watching.
Yeah, right? We all have. I mean, but it's one of those that, like I say, it's been a long-term deal for me, so I'm not worried about it.
Right. And did you hear Cliff High's little read between the lines comment today on Vic Weir's anyway, on my Twitter, I put a link to it, and this one and OMG were two of the 3 or 4 that he talked about.
Mm-hmm.
But Digibyte, he's still high on it if you read between the lines, and he says, it's going to be kind of a long term. I'm putting, kind of paraphrasing what he says. It's going to be a little bit of long-term hold, so to speak, but it's going to come out, looking pretty good.
Yeah, it'll come out ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, he's using the analogy that the prize has been kicked down, kind of like kicking a can down a road, and then at some point that can's going to end up being brand new and shiny again. So.
Well, that's exactly right. I mean, that's exactly what's going on with it. And it's been that way for quite a while, but the technology they got and everything they're getting involved in, it's a good one. It's one of those, I'm not saying you throw your whole investment at. There's no way. I mean, you don't do that with anything, not with anything. Yeah. But it's just something you can, when it takes these little drops and moves down, you can get it pretty cheap. Throw a couple of dollars at it, in my opinion. And by the way, guys, I'm going to say a disclaimer real quick. We are not financial advisors, right?
No.
Okay, so I want to get that out of the way. We are not financial advisors. You assume and take your own risk. I mean, we'll try to help you, but assume your own risk.
Right. And that's why I have it shadowed out here. It's just sideways consolidation. Nobody wants to no one wants to really sell out. I guess the sell. You know what? I mean, I'm just saying. I think all the sellers are pretty much gone.
Well, look back here though, Joe. Here's the thing. Look back in here where I got my cursor. This is on September. Look at this back here. You got this reversal pattern. Look at this. Look at this wick right here. It went down and it came over into this area where it made a prior move higher. Okay? And you get this wick and somebody said, nope, it's not going any lower than that. And so it gets this nice big green candle. Somebody was buying it right in here. And now look what you got. Sideways consolidation. So I'm saying, guys, I mean, everybody gets disappointed when it gets below 400, or or if you're looking at the dollar part of it, but when it gets down here and it gets tight, I'm just saying you better watch it, because all it takes is one little piece of news and this thing could just pop. So
yeah, pretty easy. Yeah,
pretty easy.
Yeah, that's like a big coil spring just coiled up, ready to release all that tension. And yeah, it came down just coincidentally. That's something else. JR and I get into it from times. It hit this low pivot. There's a reason why it stopped where it did, and that's where the buyers came in last time. See, it dropped down here, that low, and then guess what? That correlates with where the buyers came in here the last time back in April of 18. So yeah, that first run up there.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, then he had this low pivot here with support. So that's what I'm on. I always just sits here, and then at some point here, pretty quick, we take a run.
Yeah, Obzin 33 mentioned something really nice. Is that he said he loves DGB personally. DigiID and DigiSign have some real world use case, and they do. That's just part of the technology of it, and it'll catch on, guys. I mean, that's the thing with the beauty of blockchain and Bitcoin and all these other altcoins, is that I almost consider Bitcoin like a 5-year-old child. It's like there's growing pains, right? And that's where we're at in this. So it's almost like the NASDAQ. Way back a long time ago when it was just starting out, there was a lot of growing pains, and there was a lot of companies that ended up going bankrupt, and you had IPOs and all that stuff going on, and those companies got their money and then they went bankrupt. It just happens. So you got to pick and choose which ones you're getting in if you're going the long term, right? And this is the long term hold. So that's why I don't try to post it. And I said a long time ago, I don't want to get into the daily charts of Digibyte and all that stuff, because there's no use. It's a waste of time. So look at your longer term charts. It's a long term hold, and just have some faith. So, and if I'm wrong, and I'll come on there and admit it. And obviously I'll be taking a loss on it, but I'm sticking with it. So anyway.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. So, does anybody have any other chart requests or questions right now while we've got just a second? And I know it takes a few second delay here. I'm trying to get that fixed as well, but.
I'm throwing OMG since everybody kind of knows about that.
Hey, Joe, go. I'm sorry, real quick. Before we go to OMG, I want to get to the members. Ben wants to look again at the Bitcoin weekly chart. Let's go back to that. Okay, so there you go, Ben. What kind of question you got? He may have. Okay, he thought maybe he missed it. So you want to kind of go over that just a little bit, Joe?
Oh, okay. Well, we were just saying how much support we have here at the 6,000 line, and on the weekly, we've had an A here and there that's closed below it gets, kind of the heavier it could get too. So I don't know. But as I'm saying that, there's been a whole lot of consolidation starting, back in June all the way through here. They have really defended, day after day, week after week, that 6,000 line. So there's definitely.
I don't know if Ben was just joking or not. Anyway, I think we got it now. I think we got it. We're good. Okay. Any other chart requests? Any other questions? Anybody? Give it a few seconds here. You're welcome, Ben. You are welcome. Anybody else got any questions, chart-wise? I mean, if you got any questions, now's the time. Oh, wait, here we go. Chris wants to look at Ethereum, ETH, and also Ethereum Classic.
Oh, yeah. Hey, let's do the ETH first. Here's the weekly on it.
It looks just,
high there. That's typical. You have a higher high, then you have this low, and then hopefully next week it can make, another, not this, to close this week at Detroit, that's fine, I'm not worried about that. But the next week, hopefully we get a green out of that, and then that's starting the next higher high.
It's got to get above 290 or it's dead.
Yeah, right.
290. It's got to get above 290.
Candle, basically that's, JR saying we got to get above that.
Yeah,
there.
Definitely.
And, the last time, again, not too shabby. Last time, it was back in July, 17. Last time it closed on the weekly, that low. As you see, 2 weeks ago, it got down there, but it pulled up. So there might be a line in the sand at 200.
Yeah, there's some support in there. I think if that fails, it's going to 120. If that fails, it's going to 120. Period.
Right. He's talking about this line right here.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Daily.
You can see where it broke that bear flag. Look at that.
Yeah.
That's a bear flag it just broke. But we'll see. It could be a head fake. It's possible, right?
Yeah, I hope so. A lot of times, even as it pops out, a lot of times it'll go under and then come up, retest, and then drop down. Just like if it were to pop out, it'll come back, retest, and then around here like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to see if I see it. The gas will pop out of that. And see how, all these, there's really nothing new in trade. It's just new assets that you can trade. But all the what we talked about before, see all the consolidation, and then when it went up, it definitely went up. See all the consolidation. That's why I don't worry about sideways consolidation and all these charts.
Well, the only problem is when you got the moving averages going in your favor. That's when you like seeing the consolidation. So, like if you scroll back over there and you look at where we're at now, I mean, it's one of those that scroll back to your right, Joe. Go back all the way to where we're at now.
Okay. Yeah.
There you go. And I'm assuming that's your 200-day moving average up there. Is that right?
Right here.
Yeah. So here's the thing, really. I mean, when it comes to moving averages, is, and I'll just point it out, is that when you see like a spread in between the moving averages like this or like this, that just means it's harder to get to that area, right? It's added resistance is what it is. So when you start seeing that, it's hard. It's really hard to get there. I mean, you either got to have like great news or a massive short squeeze or something, but that's just added resistance. I mean, and it takes longer to get through that than it does anything else. So, in my opinion. Okay, Ethereum Classic.
Okay, yeah, I was just going to see what they were talking about. I got they're late on it. They're saying that anyway. Okay, ETC. Let's just go with Coinbase and okay. Well, somebody's been on here. Look at this one. Yeah, okay. We have this little run up here, back and then consolidate last 3 days. Really, this chart, I don't even know if you can get a weekly out of it. Yeah, you can't really even get a weekly out of it. See 3 days. Okay, I'll tell you what, 4 hour, that's 4 hours. Let me get rid of everything. Okay, we'll just start from scratch here and kind of go backwards, and we'll just put that on. See, we got a little trend line here. Bring that down. Now we ran up on this trend line, and then we had a double top here and here, and then we couldn't close back above, this resistance up here, so you knew it was going to go down.
Mm-hmm.
So the stop loss should have been right here at the bottom of this candle. Then you had your high, relatively high RSI. So of course it's easy to say that, Monday morning quarterback after stop loss right here on this candle, and then boom, you went down. But as long as it holds that, I think what that, I'll see this, to me, what this looks like. There's another coin out there that looks similar to this, but it's huge. I don't know. A lot of people getting in right here. I mean, that's pretty big. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that goes back to September. That's the biggest buy candle. Somebody's accumulating. That's the biggest buy candle. But you got one right here too.
Mm-hmm.
See, when it gets down, look at that. That's what you need to know. When it starts getting down around 1050, high 1040, let's say around 1050 or so, that's where they're coming in. When did that open? That opened at 1064. And then right over here, the same thing. Got a big candle right there. Then there's that one way back here. But yeah, that's pretty interesting.
What needs to happen, in my opinion, if you scroll this back out a little bit or scroll it in, there you go. So let me move this up just a little bit. There we go. So low here. That's double bottom type, right? Okay.
Oh yeah, I didn't even.
Double.
Yeah.
That's double bottom, right? Double bottom.
Yeah.
You're coming up. You break above this little area right in here. You make a high. Then you get kind of a double top to come back and retest the double bottom. So now it looks like it's successfully tested it. So now the key is, can it get above this? And if it can get above that and get these moving averages starting to hook up and carry it forward, that's your key. Okay? That's your key. So we need a new higher high, otherwise we're stuck in sideways action for a little bit. So
and then also, these long sticks coming down like this, okay, it doesn't matter if a weekly looks like that, or an hourly or daily or whatever. When you start going back the opposite direction, oftentimes it goes back the opposite way as fast as it went this way, whether it was down or up. Okay, you get about the same momentum going the other way. And why is that? Because there's not a lot of sideways consolidation. There's not a lot of support there, and it can just, just bam, drop right through it. And as you can see, it started selling off, and you had this huge sell candle. Now I'm just using this kind of like a chart school thing. And then you had this huge candle come down. You see all that consolidation. That was almost like a brick wall. So it kind of sort of, held it, stopped it, it pulled back up. And then you even had a little rebound here into that area. And then finally, just a huge amount of more sellers came in to drive it down. So all that said, when we get over here and start hitting some, momentum, hopefully, to drive it up, that should go through good. I'm trying to think who I heard that was talking about Ethereum Classic as being, what it was? There was a company, it's called Blockchain is in Arizona. Just maybe search Blockchain Arizona. There's a company, corporation, private company, I believe, Blockchain something, that I want to say it's like 60-something thousand acres. I mean, it was a crazy, not square feet, I think it was acres. They purchased out in Arizona in kind of a technology little area like Silicon Valley, over. And it's real, not secretive, but kind of, sort of. And there's I'm trying to think the exact percentage. It was a pretty good percent, 15-20% of their holdings. Cryptocurrency is ETC. So there's some big player that wants to remain, kind of in the corner, not be seen, that holds quite a bit of ETC for whatever that's worth. And they're heavily involved in a blockchain. I don't know if they're going to be using that to build on or sell or what, but just something to take note of on that deal.
All right. Does anybody else have any questions or any, and I'm going to throw it out there, guys. I mean, anything about the charts, what the moving averages are, what the Bollinger Bands mean, what, does anybody have any questions about that? I just want to get that out there.
While you're waiting on that, give a little spiel about our Congressional Blockchain Caucus. Most people probably didn't even know we had one. But the government has 4 congressmen on this blockchain caucus, and they're actually doing a lot of good things. It's very pro Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, and the analogy they use is, remember, late 80s, early 90s, what have you, the internet and everything coming around, and how the government didn't really meddle in it that much, at least that I know of. Of course, they probably put the back doors and everything, but that's what these guys are wanting, that the government kind of sit back and let it just have, organic growth, the people, corporations, blockchain companies, all that kind of do their thing, and they're really talking about the technology and the support they're looking to get from the technology. And these guys in this group are not really, talking about or necessarily interested in the trading or what's going on with the SEC and that sort of deal. They're more just strictly on the some stuff. And anyway, I've got up here. You can look at it, and then this guy here, where's he at? Minnesota. This is pretty cool. You need to read this. This representative, and he has good information here. Resolution supporting
Good deal. Hey, I wanted to show everybody something real quick. I don't know if you guys were on Discord last night when I was talking about the divergence on Bitcoin. And I'm going to show you what I was talking about real quick. Let's see here if it'll pull up. It's being a little stubborn. Maybe not. Let's see. Yeah, it's being stubborn. Let me do this. All right, so I'll close that out. Let me go over here. And I said it was more evident. Of course, I got to scroll this out. But I said it was more evident on a 2-hour chart than it was on an hourly chart or a daily chart, or even a 4. But here's a divergence right here for you guys. Look at this. And I talked about it last night. So you got price right here, and look where the stochastic RSI is, right there. Okay? Now, if you come over to the right just a little bit, look at this. You got a lower price right there and a higher indicator. And guess what follows? You get a little pop. It's not much, right? It's not a big one, but at least it was an indicator that this was going to go up. Okay? And not only that, but you're coming off price outside the Bollinger Band, comes back in, wants to go down, and now the lower Bollinger Band wants to be support. You get the divergence, boom, there you go. So that's what you look for. And now look what's happening. So now we're coming up here, and the 50 EMA is resistance, okay? And we're close to the upper Bollinger Band. Now, if some kind of news was to come out, this could actually take the higher Bollinger Band up this way. It could very easily hit the upper Bollinger Band and just drive price lower and reject off of it. So just wanted to point that out. I mean, you know, stochastic RSI is coming out of oversold, but I just wanted to point out that divergence right there. Does everybody see that? Oh my gosh, back in 1999? From a buddy of mine named, and he called himself Stocks, S-T-O-X-X. His real name's Ralph. He taught me Fibonacci, taught me almost everything I know. I owe everything to that guy. Derek. Yeah, right? That's a good one, Derek. But no, that's where I learned it. Joe, where'd you learn your charts at? I think you told this story before. Where'd you learn it at?
Oh, it was, honestly, I'm very say it's kind of a hodgepodge. Everything you could do wrong, you could do wrong. Matter of fact, I started out listening to Jim Cramer every night.
Oh, that's the worst mistake you could ever make.
Yeah, so if I could come out of this thing, you know a little bit, and, you know, anybody and everybody else can. But, yeah, my first buy was CHK, that natural gas company.
Yeah, Chesapeake. Was that Chesapeake?
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, back in May of 2005.
Oh, yeah.
And the rest is history. There used to be a little, well, I guess it's still around, Investor Hub, iHub. And there was a guy named Black Truck. He was a retired GM for General Motors at one of their plants. And anyway, he did this and was kind enough to every so often throw us a bone regarding the, you know, basic charting and stuff, and got me going on stock charts, which I still have a little membership there, even though they don't do. And I would, and I do now, and I have in the past, refer people to stockcharts.com and go at the top of the page.
Hey, Stock Charts is awesome. That website is really good. In fact, I'm gonna pull it up real quick because people people really, 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 really need to go to stockcharts.com. That is a great learning tool. There's another one that's called Baby Pips. That's a good one. In fact, that reminds me, that's some stuff we're going to put on our website. So,
oh, okay.
Yeah.
I tell people to go to chart school and then, just immerse yourself in there.
Yeah.
And then, honestly, you really do. I was, even as a kid, I was saying, now you don't need any help from anybody else. You just do it yourself, no matter what it is. And anyway, over the years, I figured out you really do need help from other people, and you need a little guardian angel or somebody to,
you really do. That's so true, Joe, because that's what stocks was to me. I was blind. I had no clue. I got lucky from some other person, but stocks is the one that taught me everything I knew. And I basically, when I looked at a chart, I had no clue. I was like, "What is this? I don't know. I don't get it." And he basically showed me the ropes, and that's what it takes. You have to have somebody that's willing to take time out of their day and devote it to you. And that's the whole point of our Discord channel, is that we want to teach you guys and help you guys and just share our experience. That we've got, I think between me and Joe, probably 35 years, Joe, of total combined experience. I mean, I'm going on 20 years now, and I know you've got quite a few years. So, you're getting some people that have seen it. You've seen it.
Yeah. Well, the main thing, not to, sound whatever, but at any time, any place, we'll get on there and make trades live. Now, I've seen people, and tell me if I'm wrong, I mean, are there other people that will get on there and do stuff and call stuff before it happens and things like that? I mean, JR and I do that all the time. And, I mean, it's kind of like an ATM machine now, quite honestly.
Well, here's what happens, though, and I've seen this time and time again. You're going to see people out there, and I'm not going to mention any names at all. I don't, there's a lot of people I respect, and I'm just not going to do it.
You're a lot nicer than I am.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people that you got to be careful of on Twitter or in paid chat rooms, okay? But you got to be careful, because some of these people, all they want to do is they want to promote their crap, and then they want to dump it on you. They could care less about you. They don't know you. They've never met you. They don't give a crap about you. They just want to promote their agenda and try to get as many followers as they can, and then get them, or get you to pay them. That's what it all boils down to.
Yeah.
That's why I said I never wanted to go to a paid subscription channel, because I don't believe in that crap. If you guys want to donate money as a tip, fine. And that's why I always said I don't care if it's $2 or $100. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I mean, so but there's going to be people out there that they want to promote their crap, and they feel like their stuff doesn't stink. Right?
Yeah. And then, and I want to interject something there, because back in the day when I was coming up, I bought every single book, I put some, public libraries to shame. But what the deal was, none of those guys really were full-time traders, if that makes sense. Or, they had kind of like the difference between the coach and the player, or or whatever. I think you know where I'm going with this.
I do. Yeah, absolutely I do. Yeah.
I would only follow someone that trenches that's done it, that's, you know, fought through those, you know, emotional ups and downs and stuff, and, you know, how to shake that off. And if you go to buy and sell something and you're nervous, uptight, if you feel any type of, and you're going to feel a little bit, but really, right now, at this point, I'm sure JR is too, I'm basically numb with, I don't feel anything. I just see, and I might, you know, if you put a heart monitor on me or something, I might get a little bit higher heart rate when I see a potential pattern, but not
Yes.
when, you know, I'm necessarily going for the kill, so to speak, you know, but when I see the, you know, the deer come out in the field, you know, but as soon as that scope's laid down, it just, you know, yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing is that, you know, when you look at indicators, why do indicators become indicators? Okay, because of price action, right?
Yeah.
That's why. Now you can look, and that's why I'm a big proponent of candlesticks, because you can look at and see based on candlesticks, which I think is probably one of the greatest inventions ever. The person that did it back in Japan, but Japanese. It shows you where something reversed. You see the long wicks, and you can tell what people were doing based on the candlesticks. And so that kind of gives you the first thing to look at. That's like if you pull up a blank chart and you look at nothing but candlesticks, you can almost get a gauge of where something's going. If you look at the right patterns and what they mean and all that, you know what I'm talking about? And then once you start throwing moving averages on there and Bollinger Bands, that's where it all comes into play. So you have to pick a point and start with that, right? But that's where I'm at. You know, I mean, you know, but again, going back to other people, and I mean no disrespect. That's just the way I'm a nice guy. But there's people out there, and you got to be careful. Everybody wants to follow somebody, and all it takes is you getting into one trap, and you're done. I'm just telling you. And you got to trust yourself. Okay, you got to trust yourself. Ben. Okay, Ben's asking a question here. He says, "Yeah, it's a visualization of price action. It is. It really is. Candlesticks are a visualization of the order book. So shouldn't we be reading the order book? Well, why would you spend your time all day looking at an order book? You know, you can sit there and watch buy and sells all day long. I can sit there and look at a candlestick and tell you what's going on."
Yeah. Well, more importantly, no, just as important. That's I'm going to say from that. You're not going to see patterns necessarily. You know, trends. I mean, you can see price going up, price going down, but unless you scan through there real deep, you're not going to be able to see previous prices and how it's scaled in and scaled out. Basically, you're zoomed in to 4 or 5 trees. You're lost in the mountains, and you're taking, you know, paper towel tubes, so to speak, or toilet paper tubes, you know, a little cardboard thing, and putting them up to your eyes and trying to see and find your way out.
Well, and here's the other thing. I mean, Bitcoin is not regulated, okay? It's not regulated. So what does that mean? That means that anybody can come in there and play around with it. So when you start seeing, and I've seen it all the time with Bitcoin and altcoins, you could go in there and somebody says, oh, there's a big sell wall or a big buy wall. Okay, well, I've sat there and watched it time and time again, and you could see somebody that's sitting there with 20 Bitcoin to sell, and then you sit there and watch the orders go through, and then all of a sudden that goes away. It's almost like they're using it as a scare tactic. That's why I never look at it. I never look at that.
And also, since they're not trading real coins, I mean, seriously, they're not trading real coins, you know, because there's millions, trillions of dollars, well, probably billions of dollars being traded every day. There's not even that many Litecoin or Bitcoin Bitcoin itself, just wash trades, I guess, or something.
Mm-hmm.
20% of the numbers you see up there are, fake numbers, just thrown up there to create, volatility, which is what you need to move the markets. But
that's why I never look at the order book. I don't ever look at the buy and sells. I don't look at that crap. I don't. Yeah. I could care less about that. I mean, I don't have the time. Number one, and number two, you got to depend on what type of trader you are. Are you going to get scared off if you see a 10 Bitcoin sell just above you when you're trying to get out, or get in? Is that really going to affect your decision on getting into something? That's where you go back to the chart and forget what's on that order book.
Yeah.
You just got to trust what you see on the charts, guys. You really do. You can't look at something and sit there and let some big order somewhere here and there determine your trade. You can't. I mean, especially with Bitcoin and something that's not regulated. Now, does it happen on the NASDAQ and stuff? Probably, but not as much as this. SEC is not involved. I mean, once there's regulation, then they'll be involved. But right now, it's you just got to trust the chart pattern. That's what you got to do. Trust your way of doing charts and trust it and go with it. Because I'm guilty. I was guilty of that a long time ago, and it ticked me off every time I would see something and go, "Oh my gosh, there's a huge seller there," and then it took nothing for somebody to blow right through it, or they pulled their order. There's a number of different reasons why people do that, and I, it's hard to say why they do. I mean, we could all get into that, but it's a long discussion. I just trust your charts. Be patient with what you know, and stick with it. So
and also no one technique out there is necessarily the best.
Totally agree. Totally agree.
I mean, I think you have to be kind of a little bit of a jack of all trades or techniques and kind of mesh them into your own personality and what works successfully for you.
Totally agree. I mean, Joe, even though me and you pretty much, for the most part, we agree on where price may go, your technique is different than mine, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And some people use the Ichimoku cloud. I've seen that, and there's nothing wrong with that. It just depends on what indicators you want to use. I'm just showing the ones that use for me, and Joe is using the ones that work for him.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to pick what you want to use and test it and see if it works. And if you come along a pattern and it starts working for you, stick with it. Don't just sit there and follow us just because we're trying to get you a guide and teach you something, but you don't have to do everything we do.
No, if you find something that works,
stick with it. Absolutely. No doubt.
Because I guarantee you, I'll be bringing to the table, to everybody that follows us, and, Twitter or Discord or wherever, I'll be bringing to the table every technique, everything I can think of. I'd be one of those college football coaches that was, I'll steal a play from anybody and use it. So,
oh, yeah.
If it works. So,
yeah, absolutely. Anyway. Does anybody have any questions, or do you just want to sit here and listen to us ramble and talk BS all night? Any questions? Chart requests? I'll give it a few seconds, and then we'll think about maybe shutting it down.
Yeah.
Any questions?
Yeah. If you click on my screen, just tweet us.
Oh, gosh, I'm sorry, Joe. Let me get that back over there. My bad.
No, you're good.
There you go. You're up.
No, I was just saying, I took off the moving averages, and that's something people can do at the start. Just clean it up. I don't know. I like them simple and easy. Whenever I see a chart with like a million indicators on there, too.
It really would. If it breaks above
You know?
that wick over there to the right of your mouse,
Yeah.
right there, what is that, 60? Yeah, it's $60 even. Yeah, if it breaks that 60 area, that might be enough to push it above the 61-ish.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as you see, we had those long wicks you were talking about before. People were buying it up, buying it up or something. Where they sold it off here. But right now, this is today's candle. Of course, it's still good until 7 o'clock Central Time tomorrow. But anyway, we're back above 1, 2, 3. So basically, if it just closes where it is now, we'll have closed above the last 1, 2, 3 days, which is positive. We'll tell you anything we can get. But as you can see from here, now it was back. Well, let's use this one. In July. We haven't done this really since July. Taking out that previous high pivot. Now we had one here that we took out, but it failed. So what I'm saying is, hopefully we can get above one of these high pivots, and they just keep keep going, as they say.
Yeah.
But back to the woo-woo stuff, and all the other.
Hey, Joe, real quick.
Yeah.
Pull up LTC. Pull up Litecoin on a 4-hour chart.
Oh,
Derek is on here, and he said every time Litecoin has had a bullish engulfing candle on the 4-hour over the last 2 weeks, it's had gains of at least 7%. So pull that up real quick.
If he's talking about what we talked about earlier, like this one.
Yeah.
At the bottom, you gotta wait till the bottom. Yeah, it's a lot more than 7%. But yeah, he's right. He's right on there. And right here.
Yeah, and there was another one right there.
Right there. Yeah. It's just this trend line right
That's
here.
awesome. Good catch on that one, Derek.
Yeah,
Very good
Derek.
catch. Good job. That's an
yeah.
excellent job.
Yeah, kind of off topic, JR. We need to hook up with Derek next day or two or something.
Yeah, we're going to. We're going to be doing some stuff for the website. Get that going. It's been and guys, I mean, for whoever's left in here, it's been a work in progress, but we're getting there. We're getting close. We're getting close.
Hey, you're opening a new dealership and everything, so you've been.
Yeah, it's been crazy. Yeah.
So so Derek, we're gonna be hooking up with you here. Okay.
All right. Does anybody else have any questions or chart requests? We're getting ready to call it a night on this. All right. I'll give it just a couple of seconds, and I think we're good. All right. So we're going to call it a night, guys. We're going to shut it down, and we'll be doing another YouTube here next week. Joe, you good with that?
Yeah, we can. Yeah, I'm off. Yeah.
Okay.
That's fine.
Yeah, we'll try to make this like a weekly thing. I know we haven't done one in quite a while, but I would really like to get us to where we can do it maybe once a week, and that way, if people have questions, it's much easier to talk about it instead of trying to type it in the channel. So, oh, wait a second. Chris wants to look at Ada Cardano, ADA.
Oh yeah, that's one of the.
Excuse me. ADA.
Yeah,
I always like that one. Yeah. That's a good trader. It's a good trading coin.
Okay, there's the weekly, and I really thought this was going to be the game changer right here. This, last week, Sunday. This is, obviously, Sunday night through the day. This candle right here, which is fine because everything is kind of down. But yeah, if we ever break out of this thing, well, like you were saying, this line that's already there, if we can get over that big sell-off candle.
Yeah.
Let me pump it up a little bit. Yeah, this one here, and it's going to be game on. The only resistance that you're going to have going up are these high pivots. So you'll probably get a little bit of selling here, a little pullback, and then here, a little pullback, and then it just blue skies up to all-time highs. And see, it did drop down. That's, for a whole week, it was under the, well, according to Binance, you know, everybody has a little bit different looking chart, but according to Binance, it, you know, traded below, you know, the all-time low for a week. And then the next week, it was like, oh no, and everybody started, you know, piling back in. So even if you just keep going out here for another week or so, and stay inside that green candle, I think you're safe. And then once you close with this big sell-off candle, yeah, I think everybody and their brother that can even halfway look at a chart is going to be in it.
Hey, Joe, switch that over to a daily chart real quick, would you please?
Yeah.
Yeah, scrunch that down just a little bit so we can. Or here, let's do this. If you don't mind, let me borrow your chart just real quick.
Yeah. Okay.
There we go. Let me get that volume out of the way. There we go. Yeah. So, what is that right there, guys?
It's like a little bit of consolidation.
That looks like a double. That looks like a double bottom to me. And then right here, to the eyeball at least, it looks like a bull flag.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah. So something to watch. You know, I mean, obviously, if it's a bull flag, you know, if you try to measure it out, it could break this area right in here.
Yeah.
Or at least test it. Okay. So, you know, you're talking about going from, what is that? I'm trying to read that. Is that 8 cents to about 12 cents?
Yeah.
That's a pretty decent move. That's a pretty decent move. And look at that buy volume that came in right here. Now, that could have been a lot of people dumping out, but that sure looks like good volume buying in. And then you're getting this little bull flag consolidation right in here.
Yeah.
So,
well, actually,
double bottom, bull flag. That looks pretty bullish to me.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty bullish.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, see, even on the way down, there was a few plays here. You know, that bullish engulfing candle here. Got a few cents out of it.
Hey, real quick, Joe, I'm sorry. Ben wants to know, where would you put a stop loss? Where would I put a stop loss? I'd put it right below that wick right there. Right there. Because if it drops below that, I think it's coming down. It's probably going to break that double bottom. That's just my guess. And if you can throw, maybe, Joe, if we can throw some fibs on there, I can do it real quick. Won't take me but a sec. I'll just borrow your chart. All right, so let's throw a fib on there, and let's just look at right there to right. You got your magnet? I don't know if you got your magnet tool or not. I can't tell.
Oh, no. There it is.
Okay, okay, got it. All right, let me go ahead and delete that real quick.
Well, you can delete it all, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Clean it up.
Let's see. Let's remove that. Let's remove that. And yeah, I don't want to remove all of them. Let's see here. Nah. Okay. Let me do this. This way I can see it a little better. Let's do this. Let's go here to here. Well, isn't that interesting? See where it bounced off of? The 61.8. How about that? That's pretty interesting.
Shazam.
Shazam. So, Ben, if I were you, I would be putting my... And if you had a little bit of risk to your trade, you could actually put it down just below the 78.6 down here. Okay? So you could put it down here if you got a little bit of risk, because you know how these things like to work. Sometimes they could just wick just below it, right? But me, if you're conservative, you could put it down below this right here at the 61.8. Because if it drops that, it's going to test the 78.6 and then possibly go lower, right? And especially with this bearish engulfing candle, That could always reverse itself, right? But just saying, you know, that's your stop right there, in my opinion. Sound good? Good. All right, so that's Cardano. Anybody else got anything? Any other thing to look at? And by the way, guys, when I'm doing like fibs, so when I see something like that, what I do is I go in and let's see, settings, and then I just go in. Oh, well, yours is different, Joe. Or did I click on the wrong one? Hang on. That's weird. It won't pull up. I can't pull up your settings on the fibs. That's weird. Okay. Anyway, what I always try to do is I always try to go in there and clean up, you know, get rid of the 38 and the 50. And then that way it just leaves that right there, you know. And then all that's left is like that and that. So I just like to get those extra lines out of the way. It just cleans your chart up. Okay. Well, guys, I think we're done for the night. So I don't see any other chart requests. We will try to do this again next week, and hopefully we'll get everybody back in, and we'll go over some charts, and hopefully by that point Bitcoin's above 7,000. Okay. Let's hope so. Guys, I want to thank everybody again for coming in. Joe, thanks for coming in and helping out with everything. We'll get back after this again next week, and we'll obviously be on Discord. So if you have any questions there, just pop in the channel, ask us. We'll be more than happy to help out. So, guys, thanks again. Joe, you want to say any parting words?
Oh, yeah, I appreciate it. Really appreciate everyone coming out. If there's anything that you think of later, just tweet us, let us know, or get with us on Discord, and we'll go from there. And yeah, we appreciate you, and God bless everyone.
Absolutely. All right. Well, Joe, you have a great evening. Guys, thanks for joining in, and we'll be in touch, okay? All right. Everybody have a great evening, and we'll talk to you soon.
Okay. All right.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Joe. I'll talk to you soon, buddy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we'll hook up with Derek and get that stuff going.
Absolutely. All right, my friend.
All right.
See you, man.
All right. Have a good evening.
You too.
Right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.